Math time!
Woo! Yeah, you have just joined us for fun with volume! Woo! And not just how loud we are, but the other kind too.
That is a good one. I like that. Very funny.
I know, we gotta have this
Fun.
Bum. All right.
So, we're talking today about why we use different measurements. A lot of you have been like, Miss Akimoto, stop talking about cubic units. I just want to put the answer down. But it's important, and I told you it was, and now you find out why.
Absolutely. Because when we start talking about those units, they mean different things, okay? So the same way, if we were going on a trip, that we'd like to go on a trip, and we said we want to go to Tahoe, and we said we had to go, I don't even know how many gazillion centimeters.
We would never measure the distance between Chico and Lake Tahoe in centimeters. We measure big things with big measurements like miles, and little things with little measurements like centimeters.
Absolutely. And so we can also see that now we're going to be talking about how we take those measurements and we can compare those things, okay? So a unit of measurement, like inches, like feet, like miles, okay, they all represent something. And so that happens to, influence our volume. Because if we had a little bit of volume,
teeny tiny volume,
not a big volume, little volume, okay, versus big volume, okay, it's all due to that measurement that's in that cubic unit. Okay?
So we have figure A and we have figure B. They look exactly the same, except when you look, this says feet, 2 feet. I'm going the wrong way. 2 feet by 3 feet. It's big. Whereas this one,
centimeters, is little. 2 by 2 by 3. So it's tiny. Okay?
Even though we have 2 units by 3 units by 2 units, the units change how big they are. So, key idea, they have different volume because they have a different unit of measurement.
So even though it's the same number, it's going to hold a different amount.
So let's say I was measuring volume with centimeters. This little cube is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. And it only has 1 cubic centimeter volume. It's so tiny.
Mine's a little bit bigger. And this is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. So this is 1 cubic inch.
But what if we want to measure something bigger? We could have a box with a volume that is bigger because it is 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. It still has a volume of 1, just like these all have a volume of 1, but this is 1 cubic foot versus
1 cubic inch
versus 1 cubic centimeter. Their volume is different because their measurement is different.
So it's really important that we pay attention to that label. So that's why we're like, okay, label your cubic inches. Label your cubic units. Label.
So if I were to look at prism A, I have 2 feet by 2 feet by 3 feet. Now remember, see how I'm saying by? Remember when we said like the time symbol can also be called by? That's when we get to these measurements here. 2 by 2 by 3, which would be a multiplication sentence. 2 times 2 times 3, or we can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Prism A has a volume of 12 cubic feet.
And that's the trick, right? Because look at this. Prism B is also 2 by 2 by 3. But the big difference is centimeters by centimeters by centimeters. So the same way we just multiplied those numbers, we're really multiplying those centimeters. So this one has a volume of 12 cubic centimeters. Big difference between 12 of these
and 12 of these. Okay. Now notice, these are in red. In your interactive notebook, you need to note that Prism A has a volume of 12 cubic feet, and Prism B has a volume of 12 cubic centimeters.
Okay, and so remember, you can always abbreviate that. You can do FT and then a superscript of 3, because it's FT to the third power. Same thing, centimeters to the third power can be cm up to a 3. Ooh, very nice. And in red too, you guys. There it is.
Here's my little trick for adding these. We multiply 3 things, so you put a 3 next to your measurement.
Ah, because it's raised to the 3rd power.
And that's your lesson.
See you back.